Welcome to FGI's tutorial on how to submit a proposal for change to the 2022 Guidelines documents. Those who used our online proposal platform last cycle will find much of the landscape familiar, with a few updates we hope you'll find helpful. If you're new to the process or could use a refresher, I'm here to assist you. Our online proposal submission platform can be found by going to www.fgiguidelines.net. If you used our platform last cycle, login credentials remain the same. If you don't recall your password, you may reset it by clicking on Forgot Password. And if you don't yet have an account, you can create one in a few simple steps. Do be aware if you type in fgiguidelines.org, you will be directed to our main website instead. While we'd love to have you visit, the .org site is not the correct location for submitting proposals. Before you log in, it may be helpful to know further down the page is a timeline of the 2026 revision cycle, and just below that, information about the guidelines documents and the revision process. Once you've oriented yourself, go ahead and log in. We can safely assume you're here because you're familiar with the guidelines documents and you have suggestions for improvement. There are 3 steps you can take for your proposal to have the best shot at being considered for approval by the Health Guidelines Revision Committee, hereon referred to as the HGRC. I'll show you how to review proposals that have already been submitted, what you need to include when submitting your own proposal, and how to check back on proposals you submitted to see if others are weighing in. We'll start with the sometimes overlooked but incredibly important step of reviewing proposals that have already been submitted. You need not review all of them, but you certainly should take a look at proposals which have been submitted on the same section and language that you have in mind for your own proposal. A search for that review begins here, in the side menu where you see All Proposals. Click on it and you're led to this page, where you'll be able to apply filters to help you narrow down your search. Start by selecting the outpatient, hospital, or residential document, next the chapter, and finally the section number. Speaking of sections, you'll notice the section filter mirrors the way the sections appear in the digital version of the guidelines. While all section numbers are the same, whether digital or print, we hope you'll find having these drilled down sections a welcome time-saving measure. After you've made your selections, click on Apply Filters at the bottom of the screen. Specific proposals can be viewed by clicking on the proposal number in the far left column, or you can click on the View icon to the right. If you do find a proposal that has been submitted on the same section with a similar focus as what you'd like to submit, please do not submit an entirely new proposal. Instead, we're asking you to weigh in on the one that's already been submitted by leaving an opinion, even if that means you're including in your opinion suggestions to improve it. You'll find a Leave an Opinion box below each proposal when viewing it. However, if no such proposal has been submitted, you're encouraged to be the first. I'll show you exactly how to go about doing that. Submitting a proposal begins here in the side menu you're already familiar with. Click on Submit Proposal, and you'll be led through a 4-part submission process. Much like your search for previously submitted proposals, the first step here is to select the document, chapter, and section that contains the language you're proposing changes to. After your selection, click on Next at the bottom of the screen. Here, on the left side of your screen, you'll find the section you selected as it exists in the 2022 guidelines. On the right, you'll be able to make any changes you want by adding or deleting text, just as you do in a Word document. Let's look closely at that step, and I'll show you specifically how to make those changes. A nice feature of this platform is you don't have to worry about tracking any changes you make. The system does that for you automatically. Let's say you want to propose deletion of this section here. You'd simply highlight it with your cursor and hit delete. As you can see, the text disappeared. Easy. But how will others know you're proposing deletion of this text? Once the proposal is submitted, your deletion will appear as red text that's been struck through. There's no need for you to change the color when making your proposed changes. The same is true for added text. In that case, simply type the language you're proposing. It will appear in black font, no different than the existing text around it. However, after submitting your proposal, these additions will be shown in blue underlined text. Now let's look at the toolbar that appears where you propose changes. Many of these buttons are ones you'll never use. However, keep an eye out for the buttons which allow you to control how far something is indented, make a word bold, or italicize something. These are the formatting tools you'll likely use the most. For example, appendix material is always further indented. Section numbers and heads are bold, and titles, like guidelines, are always italicized. Once you've made all your proposed changes, scroll down to the substantiation area. I cannot emphasize enough how important of a role your substantiation plays. The substantiation box is your place to include the justification behind your proposed changes. And as it serves the role of speaking directly to HGRC members when they vote on your proposal, it's imperative that your substantiation is thorough, detailed, and includes any supporting information. If you haven't already, we suggest reviewing the tutorial on writing proposals, found by clicking on the Tips and Tutorials button in the side menu of the main page. As with adding your substantiation on the previous page, it's critical that you provide in Part 3 specific benefit cost information. The Benefit Cost Committee, a standing committee of the HGRC, will review and weigh in on your information on this page, and HGRC members will take that committee's input into account when voting on your proposal. Be sure to be specific in the text box. Select the implications for each category below. And please note, the word decrease here in green is intentional, as a decrease in capital cost is a benefit. After completing this page, click Next at the bottom of your screen. This last part allows for the ability to upload attachments should any be necessary. Please use this sparingly, as it's preferable to include the information directly in the substantiation or benefit cost analysis box. But should you need it, know that it's here for you. Finally, we suggest previewing your proposal before submitting it. Click on the Preview First button down at the bottom of your screen. The preview will show you the proposal ID number, the submitter, that's you, the document, chapter, and section, and your proposed changes. Continue scrolling down the page to review your proposed changes in full, followed by your substantiation, any attachment you may have included, and your benefit cost analysis. This is how and where your information will be shown to others viewing your proposal. Scroll back to the top of the same page and you'll have the option to submit, edit, or delete your proposal. If you choose to do nothing and close out your screen, your draft proposal will live here in My Drafts on the side menu of the main page. Upon submitting your proposal, you'll be shown a confirmation in a green message bar at the top. You'll still have the option to edit or delete, should you need to do either. And if you'd like to download a PDF copy of your proposal, you can do so with the button at the top of the page. If you followed these steps, congratulations! You've successfully submitted a proposal. However, don't walk away yet. From time to time, for the duration of the proposal period, which ends on June 30th, we encourage you to revisit your submitted proposals. Remaining engaged throughout the proposal period is an important step of the public input opportunity that makes up a critical component of the revision process. You can check up on your proposals here. Doing so will allow you to be aware of any comments posted by others in relation to your submission. Every once in a while, a question may be asked to further clarify your intent, so it's good to check back. Likewise, you can keep track of your submitted opinions that you left on others' proposals by selecting My Opinions in the side menu. Leaving an opinion on proposals can be incredibly helpful to the HGRC, especially if you have specific data, studies, or experience to back it up. Remember that you're able to search submitted proposals anytime by document, chapter, and section using the All Proposals option in the side menu. This concludes our tutorial on how to submit a proposal. You may also find downloadable proposal submission instructions by selecting Tips and Tutorials in the menu. And while you're there, make sure you've reviewed our tips on writing proposals as well. From FGI and the 2022 Health Guidelines Revision Committee, thank you for your participation in the revision process. The next edition of the guidelines depends on it.